results do not lie. Teddy has released an NFL season win totals report every year since 2001 and is 91-41 with those releases, including a 14-3, that's 82% mark, with his 5% best bets. He went 75% with this report last year, including an easy 5% big ticket winner with the Bills over 9 wins. Take advantage of this opportunity and get on board for the low price of $199, or better yet, the report is free for Teddy's full season subscribers, documented 57% over the last 5 years, counting every play, every day. Get on board with this proven NFL profit producer.
Good morning, Puckers! Hey, everybody, it's me, Lawrence Presman, and today's show, well, I'm hosting. Andy Lang is joining me, and Carmine is with us in spirit. He had he had internet issues, long story short. That's why the show took a little bit long to start, but I do have a good feeling about today's show. Montreal playing Tampa Bay tonight. Andy Lang, if I'm going to do a show I don't normally do with anybody, I would want to do it with you, bro. Where are you? There you are.
I appreciate it after the Tyler Toffoli accidental zero bet that we talked about last show. For those that missed it, my best bet was Tyler Toffoli, and I actually put an extra 0 on the end of my bet when I placed it with my sports book, and everyone wanted to know, what did I do? Did I hedge out of it? Did I buy the other side and eat the juice? And I decided, win or lose, it was too good of a story, so I rolled with it. And we cashed Tyler Toffoli to not have a point. That was way too much money to have on one individual player prop, but it cashed. And we get to play it again with Montreal extending the series. So it's a great day. Absolutely great day in the NHL.
Yeah, look, I see what you did with that extra money. You bought a green light.
Well, Carm was on and he had purple, and I had my purple lights on. And I got to say, I really would like to see Carm's reaction when the internet is all messed up and he can't get on the show. And that hotel is still going to charge him the resort fee for the day, even though the Wi-Fi's not working. You know they're going to get their $40.
Oh, damn right. Listen, Andy, before we get into it, I got to talk about the mistake bet. We all make them. It happens not all the time, but I mean, I would say for sure I put the wrong bet in at least 4 or 5 times a year. I forget to make a bet probably 4 or 5 times a year. So I would say about 10 to 15 times a year I do. I mean, it's wrong. And I can tell you unequivocally, I've lost every single one of those.
That's the first one I've won. It has to be the first one I've won. You lose them all.
Yeah, you blew my mind when you told me you won that bet, because I never win the mistake bets. It's so strange how that works. How did you do last night? What's going on with you? How are your runs? Not those kind of runs.
Doing pretty decent. 1 and 2, little slow in NBA props last night. Giannis playing, I did not expect. So we capped our NBA props expecting Giannis not to play, and we went 1 and 2. We missed the PJ Tucker over by half a point. So even with Giannis playing, we went 1 and 2, but we learned a lot. I am very excited for the rest of the playoffs. And even though July seems like a slow month, and it is, I specialize in golf and NASCAR and Formula One. This is a big month for me. So while most people are taking it slow, I have many golf tournaments. We got a major next week. We got 2 big golf tournaments this week, and NASCAR and Formula One are in the middle of their season. So July does not slow down for me, and I am on an absolute tear in both of those sports. So if you guys are looking for any sports to jump on, if you're not getting your NBA or NHL fix, check out those sports.
Excellent stuff. I had a 2-0 night for my clients. I had Phoenix, had the over in the Detroit Tigers game. Dude, I'm on a sick run. Like, I've won 15 of my last 17 days of betting, 25-8 all sports run, 10-2 NBA run, 13-2 baseball run. It's just, and it's unbelievable, Andy, because I'm telling you, and these guys know, Joe and Cheshire and all our great listeners, they know about 3.5 weeks ago, I was ready to jump off a cliff. So it's amazing. Anyway, let's get to Game 5 tonight. Tampa Bay hosting Montreal, and well, let's get the most important thing out of the way. 13-0 off a loss in the last 2 years. That's Tampa Bay, Andy, and it really demonstrates a lot to me. I'd like to get into that statistic because there are a lot of trends that I don't care about, but that one is crucial. It tells me that that Cooper is an incredible coach who makes great adjustments. It tells me that he motivates his team, and it tells me that his team have that sort of mental, emotional fortitude to bounce back and realize so long as you don't lose 2 games in a row, you're likely going to win the Stanley Cup playoffs. How important is that stat to you, Andy?
It speaks a lot to the strength and the character of a team. But one thing, when I hear a stat like that, I also like to go back and say, well, why did they lose that game? Were there random events that caused them to lose that game? Was there a strategy change? And there was a couple things that happened in the last game that I think we need to just address to understand possibly why the loss happened. Andrew did a great job explaining that about 30 minutes before we recorded the last show, Montreal made some line changes. They moved some guys around. They put in a very defensive lineup against the main lineup for Tampa. Yep. That worked. They've been great killing power plays. I believe the stat is 2-12, and they killed off a 4-minute power play, the last minute of regulation and 3 minutes in overtime. And then, of course, we just have to talk about the posts. 3 unbelievable posts were hit. And the one late with Kucherov, I mean, the goalie was beat. The defense was beat. He was behind everybody. And it goes off the stick. I mean, he had a good 2 feet of wide open net, and it bounces off of the post. So when we look at that, you mentioned the coach and you mentioned the character of the Lightning. They're going to make adjustments. Montreal did the right thing by doing some of those line changes, and it worked. It got them into overtime. It killed the power plays, and it got them a win. And in overtime, all you need is a very random goal, which that goal is a little bit random. But let's be honest, Tampa Bay is gonna make some adjustments. They're not going to hit the post like that. And all they need is a few more of those opportunities, and 1 or 2 of them are going to go in. It's a great story. Montreal's been amazing. I'm glad they did not get swept because I think it would kind of take away from their run in the playoffs. Feel like this might be the end for them. And I would expect Tampa to extend that streak of recovering off of a loss.
Yeah, so just to let everybody know you're watching Puck Time. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Andy Lang. Andrew's birthday was yesterday. I think he's definitely in his early 20s. So when you're that old, your birthday lasts at least 4 days. So he's still in birthday mode. And Carmine is having internet issues. Anyway, so Andy, you like Tampa Bay tonight. How are you going to bet it, though? You're not going to take minus 220.
I'm not going to take minus 220. You know me, I like getting on some of these player props, and I got burned last time on, I talked about the shots on goal prop total for the game, and it went in under. I was surprised at how few shots kind of came on, but I think that goes to the line change. I would still go back to the shots on goal because I do think adjustments are going to be made. I'm not sure what adjustments Montreal has left, but I'm sure Tampa is going to make them. I see a lot more shots getting to the goal, getting to the goalie. I would look at shots on goal. I don't find too much value in either side here because I don't believe Montreal is going to win it. Even at plus 120 is pretty decent on the puck line. I myself have found much better value going over some of these player props and some of these shot props. And when you look at Montreal, I think you got to look at Suzuki real hard. Very, very involved. Probably the most involved guy on Montreal as far as offense. Him to score a point is good. Him to be shots on goal over looks pretty good. So props and shots on goal is how I'm going to be attacking this one.
Andy Lang, everybody. And Andy will be joining Teddy and I on Wager Talk today. So make sure to check that out, 12 Eastern. I'll give you some of my thoughts in a sec. I just want to make mention Justin Bander, one of our listeners, writes maybe a -1.5 Tampa Bay win parlayed with the England-Denmark draw. You know what jumps out to me, Andy? Why? Like, Justin, is the plus 115, is plus 115% return in 3 hours not good enough? Like, are you that greedy that a record-breaking return, a return that would literally be the Viagra that Warren Buffett needs, not good enough? You really have to parlay that with a draw in the soccer game? Why don't you throw a little bit more in? There's a chess match going on later this afternoon somewhere you can put in there. Come on,
Russian
man.
table tennis. Russian table tennis. Don't forget about that. You can.
I mean,
don't parlay those,
there,
please.
Justin.
Please. That's my best bet. Don't parlay those. I'm changing my best bet. Don't parlay those, Justin. Please don't.
Come on, man. These guys, Andy. I mean, my Tampa Bay -1.5 is plus 115, but that's not good enough. Nope. We got to throw in a draw in the soccer game. Oh, my lordy lord. Badminton, Korean badminton next. Anyway, guys, stop with that nonsense, please. We love you all. We need you guys as part of our family. All you're going to do is become a homeless stepson if you continue with that nonsense. Andy, I'll tell you, man, I think really the key to this game tonight is the matchups. One thing about hockey, and I know most of our listeners know this because they're watching PuckTime and they're savvy, but the home ice advantage in hockey is probably the biggest home advantage of all sports, especially when you have a team like Tampa Bay who has a line that can just score at will, and a team like Montreal who has the Deneau line that can shut them down. Well, we saw in game 1 and 2, home ice advantage gives the home team the last shift change. It is very hard for Montreal to match up Deneau against the Kucherov line in Tampa Bay. And that did not happen in game 1, and it did not happen in game 2, and it won't happen tonight. Now, they will be able to double shift them on the fly and get the Deneau line out there. But the Kucherov line is going to have space tonight, and I think ultimately that is the biggest problem here. I sit there and I look at this, and I'm like, I don't want to lay -220 either. However, if you lay -0.5 goal in the first period, you're getting plus 135. Now, I know Justin would parlay that with the highlight competition in Florida, but I'm happy with plus 135. So I really think that's where to go. I think we're going to see Tampa Bay come out flying. I think Tampa Bay knows that they have to get the lead in this game. Montreal is not a team that plays well from behind. Montreal wants to get that first goal and then just shut it down. So I think we're going to see Tampa Bay come out flying in the first period. I like -0.5 goal plus 135. Andy, any thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty good. I'll give you guys a little sneaky stat here. This is something that you guys can bet, and this is plus 135. Blake Coleman for Tampa Bay is plus 135 to have a point. He had an assist last game, a goal before that, and an assist before that. This guy has a point in every single game this series, and you're getting plus 135 on a guy that's finding success. This is a team that scored 5, 3, 6, and 2 goals. They're not getting shut out. They're not getting held to one. I I like them to get over this 2.5, 3 total. So if you can find over 2.5 total goals for Tampa, I like that. And if you get 3 goals, there's a lot of points to be had on assists and also the goals. So I would look at Blake Coleman that's an incredible price. Plus 135 on a guy that has a point every game this series. It's definitely going to make my card. So that would be a bet that I would recommend for everyone.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I also like that team total. I think we're going to see Tampa Bay put up 3 or more goals tonight, especially later in the game. And Andrew McGinnis talks about it all the time. So guys, keep watching that. If it's 1-1 or 1-0 going into the third, we're going to see. If it's 1-0 going into this third, we're going to see probably a 3.5 as the in-game total. Look to take those totals to go over. We're seeing the same thing in the NBA, Andy. We're seeing a lot of points late. So yeah, guys, definitely look to do that. Andy, MVP, you look at this and it's a two-horse race between Kucherov and Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky minus 120, Kucherov plus 110. You know how good those two guys' playoffs have been? When Braden Point ties the record of goals scored in a row, like in the history of hockey, forever, like 120-something years, this guy ties the record for goals scored in a row. He's plus 1,000. They're likely going to crown the MVP tonight. Which you have any thoughts on how that's going to go?
Yeah, the value's in Kucherov at plus 110. We talked about him hitting the post with that wide open shot. MVPs they could be emotional awards given, not totally based on stats. And if Kucherov nails that game-winning goal, that's a big moment. He closes out the series. He's probably going to get it. So he gets a situation like that tonight. I think it's anyone's. It's up for grabs, and whoever has the biggest moment tonight is probably gonna like nose ahead of the other person. So if Kucherov has that big moment or gets a 2-point game, a goal and assist, or 2 goals, you're getting him at plus money. I wouldn't lay minus 130 on an MVP just because in a closeout game, that's people's last memories. That's the last thing that they remember right before they make their vote for MVP. I like the plus 110. And if he scores a game-winning goal, you just locked up plus 110 on MVP.
Yeah, and I know we never spoke about the fact that we were going to talk about this today, but I love that bet too, Andy. Plus 110 Kucherov. You're looking at a guy who's put up over 30 points in the playoffs 2 years in a row, which has been done, I think, only once before, maybe twice before in history. And there are games where, especially against Florida, where Vasilevsky did not look as good as he normally looks. I watch Tampa Bay every game these playoffs, and Vasilevsky's the best goalie in hockey. But I mean, I think Carey Price played better over the whole stretch of time. Yeah, so I love that bet. Kucherov at plus 110, guys. You can get that all down now. I think that's a great bet to make. Anyway, brother, that's really it for the show, unless you've got anything else to add.
Yeah, I'll give you my best bet. This is going to shock everybody. This one is out of left field. My best bet today is Tyler Toffoli to not have a point. This is just wow. I know. I'm really listen. When you find streaks like this in player props, you just ride them and ride them and ride them. He still does not have a point in this series. Andrew talked to me about how this line change. He liked this bet even more when he saw the line that Toffoli went on. He only had 2 shots, and this is now 7 out of 8 games. He does not have a point. If we're expecting Tampa Bay to win tonight and close out, and if they close out big, maybe they get shut out. Maybe there's only 1 goal. And like we always say in hockey, it is hard to get a point if your team is not scoring. I like Tampa Bay to have a big game, and Tyler Toffoli is my MVP for the NHL playoffs, regardless of what happens tonight. But I will still take Tyler Toffoli to not have a point in this game.
Awesome stuff, brother. So my best bet tonight is really straightforward. I'm taking Tampa Bay -0.5 plus 135. I'm parlaying it with the Danish team to eat dinner between the hour of 6 and 7 tonight. I am then spinning that into a bet on the longest shot in NASCAR winning this weekend. And I am doubling that up with a bet on Ethereum. The whole thing works out to be plus 47,000. So if you guys want to join me on that, it would be awesome. You put $1 down, you win $4,700. But in all seriousness, -0.5 a goal, plus 135 for Tampa Bay first period. Andy, I just want to say this is, to me, likely the last show of Puck Time for the year. I find it somewhat appropriate that I am hosting this show, given that I hosted the last show of Puck Time last year. However, that said,
so humble. Yes.
Hey, let me tell you two things. Let me tell you something about humility, Andy. Can you imagine if you ask Brad Pitt, you're like, yo, Brad Pitt, you think you're handsome? He's like, no. So what does that say? Humble people are either delusional or liars. Those are literally the only two things that humble people could be. Would you like to be friends with a delusional liar?
Or in happy marriages, or in successful businesses?
What's a happy marriage?
Either or.
What's a happy marriage, Andy? Those things exist? Happy marriage?
They're all around.
That's the world's longest oxymoron. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Carmine and Andrew. They did an incredible job this year at Puck Time. So did the team in the back end, Dan and Joe. The graphics looked amazing. Andrew did just such a sensational job. We are so thrilled at WagerTalk to have both of those guys. And, you know, we watch Andrew as such a young kid just evolve in front of us. It's been a privilege to do the show with those two and to do it with you, brother. And really, you know, we're so thankful for all of you guys joining us every day on Puck Time. We'll obviously be back. And that's it. Goodbye, Puckers.
With the WagerTalk one-day Power Pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $1.99. What's better than one day of great games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get your sportsbook edge with the entire WagerTalk team of handicappers with this one-day Power Pass, every WagerTalk expert in every game they release for just one day. Your WagerTalk one-day Power Pass is right here, and it's yours for just $1.99.